we're discussing introduction today, and I apologize for writing this book, but I'm very grateful for those who are present here. So this book was written as alternative to pop psychology and to therapeutic literature in general, which in my perception are positively oriented. And it's not a joke that this book is detrimental to your mental health, and it's not recommended to anyone to read. And I'm sorry if it's too late. So the therapeutic discourse in pop psychology, which are domineering today, they focus on salvation, on recovery, healing, bringing back to life, improving life. So it's action oriented, it's hopeful, it offers hope, it implies hope, and which can be summarized as the positive orientation. And in contrast, this book is offers nothing, or offers negative perspective, a depressive view, depressive worldview, and which is usually depressive worldview, usually considered within a positive framework of existing society, is considered as inadequate, as the something that misperceives reality, something is not adequate, distorting reality. And depressive view is obviously not suitable for life, but it doesn't mean that it's lying, because life is unsuitable for living it. And I think that all of us know this. We have this knowledge, depressive knowledge, just we prefer not to admit it, to be ignorant about it, and for obvious reasons. And I don't claim that we should do the opposite. So the understanding that depression, the knowledge that depression and trauma and anxiety gives us are unbearable to live with, incompatible with life. And therapeutic discourse is appealing, the discourse of pop psychology, because they offer the view that this is the distortion of reality, that which implies that in reality everything is much better than when you think when you're depressed, or at least things can be improved. And this book, on the contrary, intends to listen to the voice of depression, which is censored for obvious reasons. Listen to the inner pain of existence, to this dying while alive, trying not to run away from it. And it, first of all, reflects my own pain, my own depression, but also depression as a universal human state and as an adequate mood of human existence. And it seems the only thing, trauma, the voice of trauma, or the voice of depression, it seems sincere to me. And the book is listening to this pain, and it's listening to what this pain is telling me instead of trying to run away from it. This book might be described as the guide for those for whom, for those for whom the positive discourse of psychology, of therapeutic society doesn't work anymore. For those who feel that it's insincere and foreign, and for those who cannot recognize themselves in the discourse that it offers, and who are not able to find themselves in this positively oriented world. And especially for those who experience their own death while being alive, or who had experienced loss, or just without, for no reason at all, for no obvious reasons, just not able to go on, lost hope of recovery, who are the living dead, the unredeemable ones. But it seems to me that each is actually, no one is redeemable. So this book doesn't attempt to save anyone or improve anything, doesn't offer ways of salvation. And I believe that the intention to save others, there's always manipulation behind it, and those who offer salvation are normally scared themselves. And I think that the intention to save someone presupposes that one runs away or is not able to recognize. When you want to save someone, you are not able to recognize this something very substantial in human, the profound tragedy of each life. And this is what I was trying to see and not turning away from for some reason. So this is not a guide guide is not good word, not in terms that it's not offering of what can be done in this after death, in a state of it after death. It's not answering the question what to do. It's rather admitting that there is nothing to be done anymore. There is nothing you can do was the opposite word for guide, like lostness or loss of directions. So, for example, what can you do with the person who lost their loved ones or a child or a partner? And the life, and they also lost themselves, because ourselves are interrelational and who we are depends on our relationship with others. So the aftermath of this loss, the life, if it can be called life after the loss, it's not about recovery and healing pain anymore. It's the parody of life, and it's one's eternal funeral. And the pain never leaves. It cannot be healed. It becomes a part of you, and you are the embodiment of a pain. You might learn to live with it, or it rather becomes you. You're the embodied pain. You can still, the pain that buys, that drinks coffee and that takes walks in a park, or embodied pain that takes care of a puppy or something. But it's not. It might be illusion that it will go away. It can be healed, this profound rupture of existence. So this was the distinction between positive therapeutic focus and negative focus of this book offers. And it might be said that this is academic book, because it's obviously smart enough, since it was published in academic press, quite prestigious academic press. It obviously seems smart enough to be published there. But in no way I want to compete with other books in philosophy or in psychoanalysis. And I don't see that these books offer a better perspective or correct view of human subject or correct view of anything else, and that I have strong arguments to prove my point. I'm not imposing my perspective, and I'm quite indifferent to criticism, because I myself destroy everything I say. It's not the purpose of the book to compete and to present something smart and correct. I used to want maybe to compete with in the competition, but now it's different. I'm not able anymore, and I don't want to anymore. Partially because I'm not smart enough, and but the main reason is that I find the whole competition in philosophy and philosophical theories and psychoanalysis something ridiculous. There is something else I'm trying to do with this book. It can be called Book of Shared Pain, and I'm not using, even though it's academic book, but I'm not using it right partially. Because I will put it listed on my CV. So that's the right way to use a book, to write a book. But there is something else I want to do. It's like I'm misusing academic book. It's like, it's different. It's like using a kitchen knife, to cut your throat. It's still you're cutting something, but you're not using it right. You're not cutting the right thing. So it is suicidal book, metaphorically and also partially not metaphorically. It gives nothing, even though it's a book. It doesn't give anything substantial. And through this book, with this writing, I'm taking my own hope away. almost completely. And I let the pain operate on me through this book, and also talk to others through the pain, and the pain that actually destroys me. But the title of the book is Negative Psychoanalysis, but it's more about negative part than psychoanalysis. And I invented negative psychoanalysis. Invented that negative psychoanalysis and psychoanalysis in a form that I can tolerate, that I find honest. I partially invented it, and I partially discovered it through, and negatively radicalized it in Freud, like late Freud and other psychoanalytic thinkers. And psychoanalysis as a part of the one psychoanalysis that is the part of this therapeutic culture, that something that aims to save or to recover, or offering this salvation, some type of salvation, and improving mental health. It deeply irritates me, and I find it disrespectful. I don't like it. And negative psychoanalysis is basically how I see it, and the way I can tolerate it. I feel closeness to late Freud, the one who was influenced, who is accepting the concept of the death drive, who was influenced by Sabina Spielrein, and influenced by his own tragedies in his life and his disappointment in psychoanalytic practice. So I distinguish those two psychoanalysis, the one I like, negative one, and the one that I don't, and everything else that I don't like is the positive psychoanalysis, which of course is simplification, but still. So I write something about it in introduction, claiming as the psychoanalysis that I like, Freud influence after the accepting the concept of a death drive. After the late Freud, psychoanalysis for me functions as the breakdown in itself, as something that is glitching, as disappointment, and as empty, negative in this way, as the living dead. The book does not suggest, this is just to remind you, the final chance to not to participate in this. So the book doesn't offer salvation, it doesn't offer hope, but it's more a safe space for pain, disappointment, loss, and lack of hope, and all the bad things. So what we are going to do is I will publish each chapter, and we'll discuss it through in October, November, and December. There are 3 main chapters in a book. First main chapter, which is second chapter, The Living Dead, Destructive Plasticity, deals with negative core of the subject, and we'll discuss it through October. In November, we'll discuss second main chapter, which is Dead Together, which discusses negative core of relationship with others. And in December, we will talk about the tragic fairy tale of evolution, the negative core of nature, and we'll discuss the conclusion too. So now I'm ready for you to talk.